Work. Good morning. I am Jennifer Raab and have the extraordinary privilege of being the president of this incredible institution, Hunter College, and I'm really thrilled to welcome all of you here today as in my institutional role and also from my own personal passion. Hunter is now, it's about next week actually, officially celebrating our 150th anniversary. And yeah, I think that it is. And as an institution, we truly are, I think, the perfect partner for this conference and for the work that all of you do. And this is, we're just talking about the second time we've been fortunate enough to host you, and we see this as a true institutional relationship. Because Hunter was started 150 years ago with a focus on access and opportunity. And a pretty extraordinary 150 years ago, Thomas Hunter was actually kicked out of his native Ireland because he was too much of a rebel. And he came to New York with this dream that women, really girls who were 13 years old, should not just leave the classroom and then come back a few weeks later as teachers, but they deserve 2 years of content learning, a year of pedagogical training, and, quote, like a doctor, a clinical experience. So we always had an elementary school as part of us. And he believed that not only should all women get a chance to be educated, so we were the 9th school in the United States to accept women, but every woman. So we, yes, put on the table, discriminated against men, but we discriminated against nobody else. He had a real vision, and he wrote so beautifully, and it was rich, poor, but it was everybody. And he wrote old-fashioned language, but incredibly touching. He wrote that the Negro will sit next to the Jew, who will sit next to the Gentile, 1870. So we've always had this incredible role of educating women, immigrant women, but particularly African-American women. So this is the home of Partly Mary, of Audre Lorde, of Ruby Dee. So yeah, I think that does worth a round of applause. So this idea of what you're working on today to connect spatial planning to access and opportunity is really part of our soul. And for me, it's very important personally. It's one of the reasons that I'm so proud to have a great, wonderful urban planning department, but also to be a school where everybody is always thinking about this idea of inclusion and equity. And my own background, I have done work in urban planning, my degree's in public policy, and in a very random way, I was actually the Landmarks Commissioner of New York City before I became the president of Hunter College. People will pardon me for an academic joke, but people said, how can you go from preservation to academia? I said, well, this idea of preventing change is kind of a good skill in the academic world. So, and it's, you know, it was good to understand it. And I do get teased sometimes in president's meetings because because of that background, I am very focused on physical space and on real estate. And sometimes people say, why are you talking so much about real estate? It's, well, we're in the middle of Manhattan where there is none, and you're always looking for more and better. So it is really part of the institutional mission. But I want to spend a moment in sort of, supporting the charge and the work you're doing to, invite you when you do have a chance to visit one of our new spaces and to talk a minute about what we're working on there. We have a newish now, about 8 years old now, complex up in East Harlem. And it came from a vision of using the space we had in this neighborhood, which is a very high-income neighborhood on East 79th Street, where our social work school is located, and doing a swap to get a developer, and that site was obviously very lucrative, but to have the developer build us a new building up in one of the neighborhood with one of the most significant health, education, and social challenges in the city. The highest diabetes rates, all sorts of serious public health, asthma, very low education levels. And so the concept that we would move one of our really schools with a mission to a place where it could live its mission. And because we were a public college, we didn't suffer so much from the town and gown tension that you might face. But we still had to live up to that idea of how does an academic institution move into a neighborhood and make a difference, and also not impose a difference, but make a difference. And it is, I will say, a work in progress. We designed a building, just to start with the physical aspect, that would engage the neighborhood. It's very open, it's glass. We snuck in an art gallery, which was not in the developer's plans because we wanted to provide that service for the neighborhood. But then we challenged all of Hunter College. Social work was moving and a few other health-based programs. But we challenged all of our professional schools, nursing and education, and our other health professions, and our whole gamut of arts and sciences. We said Hunter College is moving to this neighborhood with challenges, and as an institution, we are going to try to move the needle. So we are all, in our own ways, going to come up to this neighborhood and invest and help make a difference, and to challenge ourselves to say, in 15 years, there are going to be better health, education, and social outcomes in this neighborhood because we are here. And it's a work in progress, but we have asked faculty along the range, think about using your research grants to focus in East Harlem. So our educational schools doing literacy work have major grants on that. Our nutrition program is doing all sorts of work with healthy eating for seniors to students. Our social work school has launched a wonderful experimental program where we're having students move in with seniors in their empty rooms and homes to create that, to keep seniors in home longer. And our urban planning school is doing studios up there with their students to address local planning issues. The art gallery has become a major focus of the neighborhood, has very relevant exhibits on immigration and on equity that bring in the school children and just the neighborhood where there really wasn't provision of culture. So it's working. We're asking the faculty to apply their grants. We're asking our graduate and undergraduate students to do their professional internships there. But we're also asking our students, all of our undergraduate students, to see this as a place they should know and learn and volunteer in. So work in progress, but very much based on the goals and the vision that you're talking about today about how do you think about place in a way that leads to a more just and equitable society. And it's exciting, it's important work. It is not easy, but it's something that I say it's wonderful that we've been able also for us to break down academic silos and to introduce people who are thinking about the same problems but might not talk to each other to work together based in a physical space. So we look forward to sharing our work and our research with you, and we wish you really wonderful work today because it's important work, and we look forward to continuing this conversation. I'm very happy now to introduce Dr. Lourdes Rodriguez, an associate professor and director of community-driven initiatives at the Dell Medical School at the University of Texas at Austin. And I think our recent chancellor just moved over to UT, where she develops and evaluates initiatives to improve population health with residents and community-based organizations, and brings together community and academic partners to integrate overlapping practice and research agendas to promote population health. She's a member of the planning committee for this workshop, and we're happy to bring her to the podium to introduce the day. Lourdes, congratulations.